Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to the VirtualBacon channel live stream. Today, let's talk all about Chainlink. Is it still worth buying Chainlink in 2025? I think this is a really interesting time to be taking a second look at Chainlink, especially around the regulations, not only how it's friendly towards RWAs, but also towards DeFi with Project Crypto. It's kind of all happening at the same time. Even considering the innovations in stablecoin, Chainlink is finally coming around. And I was doing some deep research today on the current dominance of Chainlink in this RWA and Oracle provider market. And it's actually been growing. So pretty nuts. I didn't expect this at all because Chainlink is already 8 years old at this point, more if not. Anyways, so really wanted to do a recap on Chainlink, and TLDR, I think Chainlink has a lot of upside, especially considering how much it has been held down in 2023 and 2024. So we're going to get into all of that today. We'll cover the fundamentals of Chainlink's current focus on RWAs and basically anything to do with tokenization on top of their existing Oracle business. And the other main factor is that DeFi is making a huge comeback with positive regulations. And then I'll give you guys my short-term target for Chainlink by the end of this year and medium-term target by the end of the cycle next year. But both will be quite good for the Link Marines, in my opinion. Okay, let's get right into it. So here, you can check out my last video on Chainlink from 2023, almost 2 years ago in November 2023. My prediction back then was for Chainlink to reach a similar dominance in terms of market cap like in 2020 by the end of this bull run. Now, that was assuming that Chainlink keeps growing. 2 years ago, this looked like a good time because Chainlink was fluctuating between that $8 to $12 range. If I can find the chart on this video. Yeah. So Chainlink looked like this on the chart and it was just breaking out. And this was really good. This was November 2023, right when Bitcoin started to go up from 30K to like 44K, that first run up. It really looked like Chainlink was one of the first to run. But for some reason, Chainlink ran a little bit and then just did all of this. Like, this was pain for the Link Marines. I honestly don't know why it happened. The only way I can explain it is that this cycle has been very driven by institutions, and institutions, the ETFs, etc., really liked layer ones. They liked mainly just layer ones and Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana for whatever reason. And then they eventually came around to XRP. And now finally it's DeFi. So this is why most coins among the blue chips have been doing quite well, but Chainlink has just not, especially when you look at Link BTC chart. This has been pretty sad. Link BTC has been in bear market. We do need to get above this previous high here, so we'll cover that in a bit. It actually fits right into a short-term price target, so we'll leave it towards the end of the video. So if you guys just want quick ways to get exposure to Chainlink, I have trading bots set up for it already that I have covered in my alt season video and my trading challenge video. So my portfolio currently has exposure to Chainlink, and the range is actually very safe. So the low end range I have set for Chainlink is $10.90. which is all the way down here. So the March and June lows. This is before this entire year's rally. And when you look at this year, Chainlink has been doing really well from $10 to peaking at 28. And my year-end target is still the previous all-time high at 52. So that's why my bot is currently set up like this. Low-end range, $10.90, high-end range, 52 cents. It will just keep buying as long as it gets lower towards that yearly support, and then keep selling until the previous all-time high. I think that's a very wide and safe range that I'm pretty comfortable just holding until the end of the year. Okay, so without beating the drum too much on that, so what's really happening on Chainlink today? Chainlink is still not that large of a project by any means, considering that it really is the main provider now for RWAs. Just 2 years ago, when I made this video, RWA was kind of like a initial stages. You saw some tests with Swift trying out Chainlink, and I believe JP Morgan and Citi did a trial with Chainlink as well. That was about it. Nobody really were that interested in tokenization. But today, it's very different. We have commodities, precious metals, tokenized stocks, tokenized on-chain funds like the BlackRock Builder Fund. And we have literally like Robinhood has tokenized stocks. So most of these platforms actually uses Chainlink as provider. So I'll show you some of the most obvious ones that are literally leading the US financial markets. So first is here. I haven't seen many people talk about this partnership that was last month. So Chainlink has partnered with ICE. For those of you that don't know, I looked into this company as well. ICE stands for Intercontinental Exchange Inc., which is the parent company of NYSE. This is the largest stock exchange in the world. This is the New York Stock Exchange parent company has partnered with Chainlink to officially bring Forex and precious metals data on chain. I mean, it doesn't get more better than that. It's actually pretty nuts, this partnership. I think this is literally a kingmaker type of partnership where the biggest asset exchange overall in the world has partnered with Chainlink. This isn't one of those like, oh, we did, Chainlink is able to source this, etc. This is directly coming from ICE. Okay, that's one. Number two, very interesting one, the US Commerce Department has partnered with Chainlink. You guys probably saw this one because it's a big government official agency. So they have not exclusively partnered with Chainlink. Instead, they partnered with both Pyth and Chainlink to bring US GDP data onto public blockchains, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, etc. But the main providers are Pyth and Chainlink. Okay, so these are very interesting, not so much because it's that useful. I mean, this one particularly, GDP data, I don't know if it's that useful on chain, but getting this kind of a recognition from the government is pretty sick, to be honest. This was last week. So, okay, that's some of the big headlines. The other major regulation headline that's very positive is coming from the SEC. So two major points. Number one is around Project Crypto. So I covered Project Crypto on stream last month, August 1st, where one of the main takes of Project Crypto, which is the new agency-wide initiative coming from the SEC, is that they want to deregulate DeFi. They particularly pointed out automated market makers, essentially Uniswap, Jupiter, etc., that these should be allowed to operate without having to file as a central authority, because they're not. And this really applies to DeFi protocols that want to share revenue, that want to offer their services to the US, this really opens it up. Now, this was kind of vague last month. This month, they have started to put out more real regulation already. And the other case that I just saw yesterday is coming from the Fed. Very interesting. So the SEC is very separate from the Fed, right? Completely different. The Federal Reserve announced that they will host a conference on payments innovation on October 21st. Very interesting to note here. They said payments innovation, but what they specifically point out here is this. The conference will feature panel discussions on several aspects of payment innovation, including the convergence of traditional and decentralized finance. Again, DeFi. They will cover stablecoin use case, business models of DeFi, intersection of AI and payments, and tokenization of financial products and services. It's pretty nuts because it hits two main cases that Chainlink is really targeting: payments and RWA, because RWA is tokenization. So this is definitely something to watch. I'm actually kind of expecting Chainlink and Sergey to make an appearance here. Nothing is confirmed, but that's what I will assume he needs to be at. Okay, so first point, covering payments. Chainlink has integrated with Swift, which is one of the main payments provider, cross-border payment providers in the world, the largest one, and they have integrated with MasterCard and Visa. So these are not as much, MasterCard runs on Chainlink per se. No, nothing like that. Instead, it's simply using Chainlink's cross-chain technology so that anyone with MasterCard or Visa, they can buy crypto very easily. And there is still a third-party provider on top. In the case of MasterCard, it's Swapper Finance. So you can directly use all the MasterCards to buy crypto on many different chains and get the native coins of those chains using MasterCard. And that bridging process is powered by Chainlink CCIP, their cross-chain interoperability protocol. So that's cool, but I don't think it's that big a deal, to be honest, this payments part. The other part that is a huge deal is tokenization. So the RWA market is huge. And what are the main areas that are getting tokenized today? You have tokenized stocks, you have institutional funds, you have commodities. These are pretty much the biggest ones. And then you have treasuries, which are basically stable coins. They're all like under the umbrellas of the big three, big four stablecoin companies. So the stablecoin companies, they don't really need any oracles per se, because there isn't like all kinds of weird price data. It's just stablecoins. It's dollars. It's supposed to be stable. But for all of the fluctuating assets, they need oracles. Now, out of these main areas, the stocks and commodities are heavily dominated by Chainlink. I was looking into tokenized stocks because you guys probably have heard these buzz around tokenized stocks in these couple months. So first we got this X stocks that's Solana native, I believe, and it's being offered to trade on all the main centralized exchanges, like on Kraken, on Bybit, any of these BNB chain as well, OKX. Okay, so if you want to trade these, you can trade them on these exchanges or the Solana DeFi platforms as well, Radium, Camino, Jupiter. All of these are actually powered by Chainlink. I didn't look into this before. I thought it's native, but it's not. They're actually powered by Chainlink. So here is the X stocks case study done by Solana Foundation themselves. And if you look at how it works, so the data feeds Chainlink runs dedicated data feeds to provide prices and corporate actions like dividends and splits. In the current X stocks design, the dividends are automatically reinvested into token balances. Chainlink is the main service provider, Oracle provider. It's not only a way to track the data. So that's why Chainlink mainly just runs the data feeds. I'm pretty sure there is also a real share that's in custody. So it's not just something that tracks. There is actually a real reserve of these stocks each time that you mint one of these X token tokenized stocks. Now, for that proof of reserve, I'm not sure if it uses Chainlink as proof of reserve, but there is no other Oracle provider that powers this. Chainlink is the exclusive one here. Okay, so what are some other large ones? There are, I believe, X stocks. There is Backed themselves. So if you've been in crypto for like 2+ cycles, Backed has always been a huge company that does tokenization even before any of these were popular. And if I can find that for you. Yeah. So Backed is a platform that issues on-chain tokens backed 1-for-1 by real-world assets, not only applying to stocks, but also ETFs and commodities. And Chainlink actually powers all of their price feeds. And proof of reserves. Actually, yeah, that is also powered by Chainlink. And CCIP is used to power their cross-chain transfers. So this is Backed and X stocks are the two main ones. There is one other that's because so far these are very Solana native. There hasn't been a big issuer on EVM until this week. So this week, Ondo made a very big announcement, Ondo, the RWA platform, where they rolled out Ondo Global Markets. Apparently, it's the largest ever selection of tokenized US stocks and ETFs on chain, starting on Ethereum trading with 100+ tokenized assets, stocks, and ETFs. These are all powered by Chainlink. It's actually pretty nuts that this is going through Chainlink data feeds. So I looked at all of the providers here. They're all just DeFi protocols, wallets, exchanges, and the only Oracle is Chainlink here. There is one other infra that is layer 0, but I looked into the integration blog. And layer 0 is not an Oracle here. It's used to power the cross-chain token issuing standard, the layer 0 OFT standard. So you can mint one token and have it be the same contract on all the EVM chains. That's completely separate from Oracle's. So Chainlink CCIP is not used here, but Chainlink data feeds is the main data provider, the main Oracle. Very cool. So basically on all the EVM chains, it's dominated by this. And on Solana, it's dominated by X stocks. And all of them use Chainlink as oracles. The only other player that doesn't use Chainlink is Robinhood. So Robinhood has their own stock tokens, but this is actually very weird because there is actually nothing decentralized about this. How this works is actually, you can just look this up on Google. So Robinhood actually keeps their own price feeds and just issues, just mints tokens that represents derivative contracts of the shares of stocks you want to buy. So it's actually just like trading Robinhood derivatives on chain. It's not really a tokenized stock because there's no real custody of a share of the stock going into some entity that you can hold. It's none of that. It's actually a derivative contract. So this is a weird one, and that's why this doesn't require any Oracle. So yeah, the reason why I mentioned this is basically the landscape of tokenized stocks. And unless you are looking at Robinhood's very centralized platform, everything else is powered by Chainlink data feeds. Very interesting. So we covered here already Forex and precious metals from the largest exchange in the world. NYSE is powered by Chainlink. We covered tokenized stocks, all powered by Chainlink. I mean, that's about it. Those are the biggest ones. The only sector that is in RWA that is not tapped into Chainlink right now is, I want to get the wording right here. It is on-chain institutional funds. I believe that's what it's called. Or is it private credit? No, it's on-chain institutional funds. So things like the BlackRock Buildo Fund. So BlackRock has issued a part of their investment fund on-chain, tokenized, that people can invest stablecoins into. And that's done through Ondo as the main technology provider. This currently does not use Chainlink. Wait, did they? No, they didn't use. I want to get this right. No, they didn't use on. They used Securitize. So it's done using Securitize, and the Oracle provider of Securitize is Redstone. It's not Chainlink. This is the only TradFi giant money pile that's not currently using Chainlink as an Oracle provider. I think this is the last missing piece. If all of the main asset managers that don't have public traded ETFs, anything that's privately traded, closed funds, once those are tokenized and tapped into Chainlink oracles and Chainlink data feeds, that's it. Like Chainlink will power everything. So this is kind of the last piece. Even then, even before that, Chainlink has huge dominance. So it's currently 61.8% of the entire market by how much value is secured by each oracle. So here are the main providers today: Chainlink, Chronicle, Redstone, Internal, which I haven't heard of, Pith, I've heard of, many people have heard of it. These are the main ones. And Chainlink is 61.8%. Everyone else is between 6 to 9%. So it's a big dominance of Chainlink. And usually this kind of a breakdown, you want to bet on the main one, because if RWA is going to continue to grow, most of it is going to flow in here. Okay. That's tokenization and RWAs and how Chainlink basically dominates 61.8% of the market share today. Two last pieces of bullish, fundamentals I want to give you guys. So since the SEC announced Project Crypto, which makes them very friendly towards not only DeFi platforms, but also DeFi tokens, and how these shouldn't be classified as securities. And it opens them up to fee sharing potentially. Bitwise has since filed a spot ETF for Chainlink application. Chainlink spot ETF application with the SEC. And if you guys remember, last time we covered all of the ETFs and their approval rates. I believe that was on, if I can point you to it, it was definitely a live stream. This video. Why are there so many layer ones in crypto? The TLDR here was that 2 months ago, before all this Project Crypto stuff, the SEC had a weird decentralization theater kind of thing going, where they said most layer one blockchains, their native coins were not securities because they were used in the consensus mechanism and they were used to pay transaction fees. So that's why most of the ETF filings before were for layer one blockchain coins. That's why you saw like things like Litecoin and Dogecoin even having a high chance of ETF getting approved. It's because Litecoin is their own blockchain, proof of work blockchain. Dogecoin is its own proof of work blockchain. It's a fork of Litecoin. So this was the only reason. And it was the only reason why like even Polkadot was on here and had a high rate of approval before much longer running projects like Link got on the radar. Since Project Crypto came out, I am really looking forward to what the Bloomberg analysts are going to say about the Link ETF approval rates, because I think it's going to be pretty high. We're most likely going to get a spot ETF approved for Link because it's way more useful in its decentralized network. It actually pays all of the transaction fees on its Oracle network. It's just not so much for consensus. It's technically not its own blockchain. That's why it didn't fit into this decentralization theater, because there were no blocks. But it has always been used to pay fees. So the economics, the utility of the token has always been clear. And the supply has been running for so many years. There's so many holders. And they're even a very decentralized validator base on Link. So we're most likely going to get a Link ETF approved, spot ETF approved. So that's very good. The last bit is something that Chainlink introduced last month. Right after Project Crypto got announced, they were able to introduce this, which is why I've been telling people DeFi is making a comeback with revenue sharing, buybacks, revenue going into the token holders, etc. Because Chainlink introduced their reserve program. So this isn't something that they just want to hold. Instead, they were actively using income from the Chainlink network. I believe the accurate term here is revenue. The revenue of the Chainlink Oracle and data feeds network to buy Link tokens and put them into a reserve. So very simple. Down here, this one, Chainlink network value flow. So before, you have this on-chain part that was always running, where people used Link tokens as payment for the both running validators and to pay validators to access feeds. Now they're integrating also off-chain revenue, and not only in Link tokens, but in all other tokens such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDC stables. And if one of the partners, they pay in fiat, that also gets into a on-chain contract that then feeds into this payment abstraction layer, which converts all of them into Link tokens, and then it goes to the Link reserve. So basically, it's a just automated way of doing buybacks and putting them into a, I believe, Ethereum address that you can track. So on here, you can already see this. Here, this is a dashboard, and here's the circulating supply of Link, and here's the reserve info. This is the active circulating supply, and this is the reserve address for the new Chainlink reserve program. Over this last month, since August 11th, this has already seen $5 million of revenue that's been used to buy Link. It's pretty cool. That translates to quite a bit. Times that by 12, that's $60 million of buying of Link on chain. Pretty nice. It's not crazy amount, but it definitely beats out a lot of vaporware protocols already. It's definitely not a small amount. And the fact that they keep track of all of this on chain, pretty cool. So yeah, so that's this program, and it was just rolled out after the US SEC told the DeFi protocols that they were allowed to do this. Okay, so those were all the fundamental stuff. Now let's get into price prediction. So is it still worth buying Chainlink this year in 2025 this crypto cycle. I want to really structure this question for people that have been in the last two cycles. So if you were in the 2017 cycle or the 2021 cycle, you might think, okay, Chainlink is too old. Who actually uses an Oracle today? But no, you're wrong. It's no longer just a DeFi Oracle. It's way more for institutions, for RWAs, which is a brand new narrative. Chainlink dominates that, as we have shown in fundamentals. So from the fundamental perspective, Chainlink is setting itself really apart today. Even though it's an old project, in terms of the brand, it's actually a good thing. Now, in terms of target, I have shown you guys earlier how I am targeting the previous all-time high of $52 by the end of this year. So the reason why I have this is twofold. First, $52 previous all-time high, nice round number, around 50, psychological number, definitely going to be resistance there. So that's, if Bitcoin continues to make a run, I think my Bitcoin target by the end of the year is around 150K. If it can get there, Chainlink is definitely going to make a bigger percentage of a run. And all it needs to do is basically repeat the same growth that it has had in the last 2.5 months since June 16th. If it does the same percentage gain, that would be already bringing us to above the previous all-time high. Okay, so I don't think it will be that easy to get above the previous all-time highs. So that's why I think honestly that's kind of conservative, because it only took us 2.5 months to get to this point from the bottom. Now, when you look at the Link BTC chart, it's even more interesting because Link BTC is currently still in a downtrend when you look at weekly time frame. This goes back to August 2020. So technically, Link has not yet confirmed a new uptrend against Bitcoin. This is unlike in the case of Ethereum BTC, for example, where on a weekly time frame, Ethereum has been showing higher highs and higher lows against Bitcoin. So Link is not there yet. In order for it to confirm, it needs to get above this high right here that was made in December 2024. Any move like this will confirm a serious uptrend, a weekly uptrend of Link outperformance against Bitcoin. And look at where this brings us. So if we get here, okay, I'm gonna take a horizontal line and let's take the wick there, 0.0003. If we get there and assuming the year-end target of 150K, again, Link is not gonna go up that much if Bitcoin doesn't go up. So assuming Bitcoin hits 150K and Link to confirm its uptrend against Bitcoin, that basically gives us this 0.0003 times about 150K, which is $45. So if Link stops at 45, that wouldn't confirm an uptrend by the end of the year. If it just slightly breaks above here, that would be about $50, which would confirm the uptrend. So I think you can think of it this in two ways. In the short term, should we have a run towards the previous all-time high? I think so, because Link is really fundamentally strong and it's been held down for 2 years already. So it's more of a mean reversion play to the previous all-time high sometime in the next, let's say, 3 months. As long as the market is good, Bitcoin trends up, Bitcoin dominance trends down like we expect, then Link should trend up towards the previous all-time high. And then the previous all-time high is really the main pivot point. Not only is it a whole number, but also we need to see Link break above the previous all-time high in order for it to confirm a new weekly uptrend against Bitcoin. And then we can think about higher targets. So that's why $50, 52-ish is very significant. If it can get to 52 and make a new all-time high, then it will also confirm a new uptrend against Bitcoin. And those two added together, a lot of people will be looking at Link again. And that will actually bring us to higher targets. In the converse case, let's say Bitcoin goes to 150K and Link doesn't go to 52, or at least like touch the previous all-time high, then that would be weird, because then Link would show something like this again, where it's again a lower high, and that would not look good. So that's why the previous all-time high is very key to target. Do I know for sure that Link is going to break above that high? I don't know. But that's very important of a level. If it breaks above there, it's going to go way higher. That's what I believe. Okay, so that's the year-end target. I think this should play out within the next 3 months or so. So after that point, okay, in the more optimistic case, if Link breaks above the previous all-time high at 52, let's say it does something like this and then breaks above, okay, then Link BTC will be in an uptrend. Then where can we target? Well, we can start to use Fibonacci retracements on the Link BTC ratio, which helped us to find targets on the ETH BTC ratio and helped us to find targets on the SOL BTC ratio. So I'm going to use the same on the Link BTC. And from the previous cycle high to this low in June, if we just take the most conservative target of 0.236, okay, and that would already bring us to about $100. So I'll show you the calculations of that. First of all, 0.236 is not only Fibonacci retracement, but it's also a pretty clear horizontal level. So you see roughly here it was tested twice. Here in October 2022, tested as resistance, and then back here throughout the bull run, multiple times this was tested as support. Okay, if you look at monthly, there's probably even more confluence here. Yeah, the monthly is even clearer. So roughly wick to here in as resistance, and here held floor as support in the bull run. So if you just want to target roughly this range between 0.00045 to about 5, that will be a strong resistance level that will be tough to break above. Now you might say, hold on, that's kind of bearish. No, well, not necessarily. Because of how much Link has been beaten down, while Bitcoin has already made its run, remember, this is the Link BTC ratio. If Link just goes back to this box, right around there, between these two levels, which matches right there, that would be about $100. So the math is very simple here. 0.00045 at the cycle top, low end target of 200K, 4 or 5, that's $90. And if we look at 5, that's $100. I think those roughly $90 to $100 very fair target that Link should be able to reach if it confirms this uptrend where it breaks above the previous all-time high. So translating this kind of a move to the Link dollar price is very simply this. Until this the end of this year, I want to target $52, the previous high. If Link can get there before Bitcoin makes way higher targets above 150K, then Link will be looking really good. So if Link can get to 52 by the end of the year, then chances are it should be able to reach even 100 by end of the cycle, mid next year. That's still quite conservative. And then after that, you can look at, okay, can it get to like 382, which is already a pretty fair target for a diminishing return after another cycle for an altcoins performance, like in the case of Bitcoin, like in the case of Ethereum. So when you look at ETH BTC ratio from the 2017 high, and then you look at the 2021 high, it roughly got to the 382 to 0.5 fib retracement because until it just peaked. So if you want to use that as a target for Link BTC to bounce to for this cycle, that would be around 0.007. You take that, you time it by 200K of conservative ratio, conservative target for Bitcoin, that's $140. Okay, at that point, pretty fair to just say, pretty happy with Link performance. Anything above that, it probably comes from the market just running way higher instead of Link itself doing much better than everything else. At that point, it probably will stay at this ratio, and it will only go higher if, for example, Bitcoin runs to 300K. Then Link probably goes higher. Okay, so these are how I used to calculate the targets. Now, going back to my video from 2 years ago, I looked at market cap dominance of 1.7%. This was 2 years ago, you got to remember. And we had 2 years of potentially Link repeating what it did here just in 6 months, but it didn't do that. It was just ugly. So right here, Link did this in 2023, and then it did this for whatever reason on market cap dominance. So this was actually the local top of Link versus the rest of the market. This is the Link market cap dominance. So I don't see us getting to the previous all-time high of market cap dominance again, because roughly by the end of this cycle, people are targeting around $10 trillion of total market cap of all crypto. If Link is to reach 1.8% of that again, that's $180 billion in circulating market cap. And Link circulating supply is not that high. It's currently at 678 million tokens. So you take 180 billion divided by 678 million, you get $265. That's honestly too high. I don't think we get there. At 180 billion circulating market cap, that would be like top 5 coin. That would be hard. I think it should be in the top 10, which is probably going to be between like just over 100, but probably under 150 by the market top. But anything like 200 range, I think that's too high. So in summary, short-term target, just like how I have set them up in the bots, I think Link should be able to reach $52 by the end of the year towards the previous all-time high, as long as Bitcoin runs. If Bitcoin makes a new run, Link should be able to get there. If Bitcoin just chops, obviously Link is not going to run. Then it will be more extended. But basically, by the time Bitcoin reaches 150K, Link should be at 52. And then by the time Bitcoin reaches 200K, Link should be at $100 plus. That's roughly my target for Link by the end of the cycle, which from current price is about 2.2x in the short term and about 5x in the medium term. So those are good returns for a coin like Link. And especially if you're a fan of DeFi, if you're a fan of tokenization, RWAs, if you really want to bet on institutional demand, it really looks like Link is cornering the market right now. And yeah, maybe Link will show up at the Federal Reserve board meeting in this conference. Who knows? This will be a kind of nail in the coffin type of signal. Okay, yeah, that's all the Hopium I have for you today for all the Link Marines. If you're looking at Link today, I think it's a really good time to take a second look. Even though it's been beaten down for 2 years, it's going to turn around pretty quick. That's my opinion. So thank you guys for joining the live stream. Check out the bots with the link in the description with the whole tutorial, all the shebang right there. And you can follow me on X at VirtualBacon0x for quick updates and quick alpha before these in-depth videos. Thanks again for joining and watching the videos, and I will see you on the next video and next live stream. Bye-bye.